GM, happy Wednesday, everybody. We are basically 3 weeks out from the draft, I guess 3 weeks in a day. So, all of the time, energy, heartache, mock drafting, and all of this big board, little board, bigger board, biggest board will be coming to a head here. And it's very exciting. Going to probably start seeing fill rates pick up. Looks like the big board is already 75% full. I think I only have 12 big boards left, so kind of sad to see this all winding down, but soon, like a phoenix rises from the ashes, we will have even more contests, bigger contests, and a whole lot more finalized information to go through. So exciting times coming up. And what is more exciting than waiting for a lobby to fill at 8:42 a.m. on a Wednesday? And honestly, there may be nothing. This may be the pinnacle of excitement. But Tyler, welcome. Feel free to hop in. Waiting for five. The water is fine. I'm gonna pull up my exposures because I don't know why I envisioned this filling faster this morning. I think I should know better at this point, but I can pull these up and look at the big board exposures. No problem. All day training. Ugh, that is brutal. My wife is actually at an all day training today, so I feel for you there. That does not sound like the most favored way to spend this Wednesday, but hopefully it's not too bad. Oh, it gets worse. It's 3 days. Yeah, I don't even know what to tell you, man. That's brutal, but yeah. I'd say I hope you learned something, but my experience is that you never actually really learn anything at these trainings. You maybe learn where to look up that thing that was kind of relevant, and so then at least you you know where to look when you forget. But yeah, that's a tough break there. I have too much Jackson Dart. I made some mistakes. I thought he was going to start early this season. Now I think it would take a miracle. It looks like it would take the Steelers getting a little loose to truly have somewhere where he would start week 1. Very up in the air what Cleveland's going to do. I've seen Shedeur Sanders mock to Cleveland. I'm afraid that's not a thing. And then we're really going to see, other than Ward, just kind of hoping that these guys end up playing by the end of the year. So I'm a little worried that Jackson Dart is fancy Michael Penix, and we'll be lucky to see him in the last few weeks of the year. But hopefully, Dart could still start for the Giants, Steelers, or Saints late in the year to trade up smoke for Sanders and Dart building. Yeah, that's the hope, right? The Giants situation is so bizarre, but it does feel like to me anyway, between Winston and Russell Wilson, that there's just not going to be a spot until like week 10 at best. Yes, Steelers. I mean, I'm worried that would they really bench Aaron Rodgers at the end of the year if he's the guy? That's kind of what I'm afraid of. He doesn't feel like, oh yeah, I'll sit out the last few weeks and let you bring the rookie in. He feels like I'm gonna, crash this plane with no survivors, and ride off. I don't know. That's my fear with if it's Rodgers in Pittsburgh. And yeah, the Saints situation is weird to me because I feel like if things are going well, like they started out, I don't see them benching Carr if they're winning. But yeah, obviously if it's going poorly, then they could bring in a rookie, but now we have a rookie in a situation that was going poorly. So it's not great. it's not great in my opinion, but um, hopefully I'm just being a little too bearish on these guys, and we still could see some earlier season starts from the rookies there. Let's see how we're looking in the fill rate here. Oh my gosh, look at that. And I got the 103. So the only exposures, oh, Chess Liam is here. I don't actually know if he's streaming or not, or if we just have a room with Chess Liam. I don't think I recognize any of the other names here. So off we go. Off we go. Jamar Chase going first. I will probably not get fancy, and I will just take one of Bijan or Saquon, whoever falls to me. I'd had Bijan ranked ahead of Saquon for much of the big board and more so on DK. But then with the few days that it sounded like the tush push might actually get banned, I was making sure to take Barkley at 2 when I got to 2. But now we're back to sanity has prevailed. And so I think I can safely continue to think Bijan might just be the better play in these PPR and half PPR formats where I think there's definitely more upside for that for Bijan, but it is a little unfortunate. It feels like taking Saquon is taking him kind of out of fear of getting buried versus being really excited to take him. But nevertheless, we persist. Chess Liam taking Brian Thomas Jr. So starting off, not unconventionally. It's a little ahead of ADP for BTJ, taking him ahead of Amon-Ra. I think Nico had flipped BTJ for a while, but that's no longer the case. BTJ is now slightly ahead of Nico, but again, nothing out of the ordinary there for Chess Liam. And then the turn where you sometimes see people doing interesting stuff. This person doesn't do anything particularly interesting. CMC and Drake London. You see that. You see some combination of Drake London plus your running back du jour there fairly frequently, but nothing wrong with that. And as we move on, Derrick Henry at 14. I've just not been taking Derrick Henry, and I feel like I'm going to get buried again, but I really hope not. But that's just how it is. Until Derrick Henry retires, we're going to be playing this game of please don't bury me, Derrick Henry, if we're fading him. And thus far, it hasn't really gone super well for us. Tyreek at 15 is very early. That's a little surprising, but again, don't hate pushing him up if you think he could be back what he was last year. You're not going to see a lot of Nico Tyreek teams because Tyreek is seldom going to fall all the way to the early 30s where you kind of have to mix him with Nico. So don't mind kind of a board flip situation there. I think my preference here would definitely be Lad. If Fazuli takes Lad, then I have a little bit of a decision to make if I want to go robust RB or just take JSN. So he does take Lad. I think I'm gonna live a little, and I'm gonna go robust RB. I don't do a whole heck of a lot of robust RB on Underdog, and I feel like I should because I think it's better than on DK where it's full PPR. So maybe I should have been doing this a little more, but we'll see. He could be better than we think too. Are you talking about Tyreek? Sorry, I wasn't sure who you were referring to. All right, Tyler, enjoy the training. I hope everything goes well, and I'll catch you later. JSN going off at 23, followed by T. Higgins. I think I'm going to queue up Garrett Wilson and Trey McBride. If I don't get either of them, I am going to cry into my pillow with heavy sobs. But I'd take DJ Moore if I absolutely had to. Dart. Yeah. No, I think Dart's good. Oh my gosh. So McBride goes. So phase one of weeping is completed. All right, DJ Moore. So we do get our guy Garrett Wilson. If you've ever watched any of my streams before, I love Garrett Wilson. Don't understand his ADP. He was a 1-2 turn guy last year, and now we're getting him in the third round when his target competition is left. He has his college quarterback back. It just, I don't get it. I don't get it, but here we are. So robust RB, again, never super comfortable. As I've been listening to more of the rookie wide receiver talk, I'm just reminded of how many rookie wide receivers like turn to dust, and they're very hard to rely on. Like lots of Troy Franklin last year, lots of Roman Wilson last year. And those were guys we weren't even taking all that late in drafts. Jalen Polk, and this class is supposed to be worse than last year. So maybe, doing these strategies where I know I'm going to end up with a lot of rookie or late round wide receivers, a lot of rookie wide receivers. It's definitely doesn't feel as comfortable, but I do want to mix in some of these builds. Chess Liam, of course, because everything has to go well for Chess Liam, gets Ashton Jeanty at 17, which is a really nice fall there. I will say it's not an uncommon combo to get Jeanty and BTJ. That's something that can be built. So there's not like a great combinatorial value here. Let's see what our BBM 2 champ does as he winds down the clock at pick 32. Chess Liam, of course, famously not wearing his goat horns, very demure, very humble. And so, unsurprising to not see him pick an avatar with the goat horns. Me, on the other hand, I had to pick the most obnoxious ones due to vast amounts of insecurity and wanting everyone to know just how sharp I can be. But a lot of goat horns in this room. Ruffian, Tyler, and of course myself and Chess Liam with a 0-1-2-0 build, myself with a 0-2-1 so far. This draft is moving pretty slowly. I had planned on doing 2 drafts before Davis came on at 11 a.m. However, I see that Pete is coming on at 10 a.m. So this will be the only draft I do. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to doing some more, but that is okay. I do have actual work I need to do today. So Romo Dunze at 36. That is very early for Romo Dunze. I am very worried that they are going to bring back Keenan Allen, and that is going to be highly bearish for Romo Dunze. I also thought Romo Dunze was not particularly impressive last year, but yet people are taking him wildly early, expecting a pretty big breakout this year, and we'll see. Give me 1 second here. All right, we are back. And we are going to get the Ducks rolling. I do wish StreamYard had some more options than these. Like, ripping off. Honestly, there's only like 3 songs you can choose. Oops. There's only like 3 songs you can choose. And so, got to make do with what we got. And that is what we have got. Chess Liam taking Chase Brown. So he is going early running back 2, which makes me feel a little better about the robust RB situation here. I simply need to tie myself to the mast and continue to take wide receivers, not get distracted by things like Omari and Hampton, who sound like a whole heck of a lot of fun. I really need to be taking one of Devonta, JMO, or Zay Flowers here. If all 3 of those gets taken, that's kind of a big bummer, because I think there's a pretty hefty drop off into this range here. I think taking George Kittle is getting too cute by a half. Excuse me. I'm getting more and more tempted to take Omari and Hampton here if he's here, to be honest with you guys. But I am not sure. I'm not sure what I want to do. Let's see. The truth will emerge when Fazoli picks. So he takes Rashee Rice. I'm picking again in 5 picks. We're going to do it, guys. We are going to go so high T, and then we are going to stop taking running backs for a long time. I don't care if it's Cam Scatterbo. I have to just, be smart about this. See how we do. One thing I find very interesting is that in BRs, we tend to prioritize running backs early and then take wide receivers later. I am up. I'm going to take DK Metcalf here. I don't get a ton of him. I wish I could take Kittle, but I really think I'm going to fall too far behind in wide receiver if I don't. As much as I do like Kittle, I don't think taking only one receiver through 5 is really can do it. I know I want to mix up my builds, but I think that's getting too thin. But going back to that, we take a lot of early running back in BR, and it's the same scoring format as best ball. And in half PPR, running backs are live to outscore a receiver, and frequently that is the path to high spike weeks on Underdog. Yet in best ball, we preach how much you need wide receiver firepower. So I don't know if it's wrong to spend up on running back. Now, obviously the risk, the theory goes is that it's easier to find late round running backs. Running backs get injured more. So you can get your Bucky Irvings. You don't have to spend the early draft capital, but that's not always assured. And, if these guys do pan out, it could be hard to catch a team with such a strong running back room. So that's all to say. I have definitely, and it's not just seeing how like Saquon and Henry did. I think just as an overall strategy, I think I want to make sure that my running back rooms aren't complete garbage like a lot of my teams were last season. So Chess Liam takes George Kittle, which, it's always good to see because that makes me feel like my hemming and hawing about taking George Kittle was not unjustified because he is a good pick in that range. Godwin and Waddle go. Excuse me. All right, let's see if anything is happening anywhere on the internet. Nothing exciting. I wanted to name this the Liberation Day stream, but then I thought like people would. I didn't want to get political. I think it's just kind of a funny name for today when we're all kind of waiting to see. We're all kind of waiting to see if what's going to happen with all these tariffs and everything. But trying to keep all the politics away. Kind of love best ball because we can escape into our own hyper niche where none of that stuff is going to impact who we're drafting here. Just a nice little break from reality. Let's see what Chess Liam does. I don't know if Chess Liam is okay. He takes Chris Olave. Let's see. So running our wide receiver predictably gets so thin here. Juwan Jennings has flown up draft boards. He was in the late 70s, all the way up to 63. I love Jennings. I have a ton of him this season. Calvin Ridley has flown up. He was in the 80s. He's now at 72. I think my preferred order, and this is not going to happen, would be Jennings, then Ridley, and then it gets real sketchy. Real sketchy. I really don't like Jaden Reed, but I will take him if I have to, because this rest of this range is so disgusting. Matthew Golden has flown up the board. He used to be a guy you could get in the 90s, and there is smoke that, if it, let's not count Travis Hunter, because who the heck knows. But if other than Travis Hunter, we could have Matthew Golden could be the wide receiver one, and that'd be something. Let's see what Fazoli does. So I do get my guy Jennings at 70, which I will windmill in that pick, because I was desperately in need of a wide receiver, and he fits the bill. So I will queue up Pearsall. Oh, there goes Ridley. I would have loved Ridley at 75. I'll queue up Pearsall and Golden and Egbuka, and I will move Pearsall to the end. I don't know if I really want to go 2 Niner receivers in my top 4. I don't think that's bad, but I like that when that's like my 5th receiver, and then I'm building like a really big Niner stack situation. Okay, well, I didn't get the option, and Golden goes, so I'm going to take Egbuka. I have a lot of Luther Burden. I think that would be fine there too. Just trying to keep everything balanced. There's definitely some FUD on Burden. Very polarizing prospect. Pat Kerrane and JJ Zacharyson did a really good pod yesterday, going over not all of them, but going over the rookies. I think it's almost a 2-hour podcast, maybe even longer. And the first one they really go in depth on is Luther Burden, and it's a really interesting discussion. And I encourage anyone to listen to that, because it was really enlightening about a very polarizing player. So I'd like to think that we're catching up here. We're catching up here at wide receiver anyway. Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, Juwan Jennings, and Emeka Egbuka. Metcalf is a little concerning. We'll see what we get out of him this year. Definitely was a little limited by injury last season, so I'm hoping some of his dip in production was injury related, but we will see. Let's see what's Chesley going to do. He's either going to take Shakir or Burden. That is my prediction, and if I had to guess, I think he's going to take Burden because he doesn't have a rookie yet. And Chess Liam takes Caleb Johnson. I did not think he was going to take Caleb Johnson there, but there we go. So he goes 3 running backs before taking 4 receivers. Very interesting. Very interesting. So clearly some of the, best ball brain, which was wired to, hyper wide receiver, is starting to, we're starting to see some dissenting opinions in there, which is really interesting. Kind of cool that we have some, different ways to build that are being done by some of the better players. So no great fallers in this room, right? We're at pick 85, and the lowest ADP is 85. So that's, people not going very far afield with their selections. There might be people autoing. I feel like people are really draining the clock today. There goes Jaylen Warren. I think for my pick at 94, I do really like Mark Andrews. I think that's a pretty good value. I'm a little less in on Josh Downs than the market. I don't really understand what the infatuation with Josh Downs is, especially with the possibility that it's A-Rich, who, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't really love Josh Downs as much as like Joe Flacco did. I could go... I don't need to take Purdy with my first pick. I don't even know if I'd want to do that. Yeah, I think my preference here would be Mark Andrews, followed by, say a Jalen McMillan kind of pick. But this has seemingly been a pretty wide receiver thirsty room. There's a few people going heavy. I guess nothing crazy. Let's see what comes up. Yeah, I don't need Kyler. I don't really want to take Naked Bo Nix on this team. It's not a huge ADP value. I'm gonna take Mark Andrews here. I think this fall is I don't know. Now I'm getting cold feet on this Mark Andrews thing. It's not like Jalen McMillan, though, isn't without. I'm going to take Mark Andrews. I think he's really good. I do worry that his route participation was starting to fall off a little bit last season. That doesn't feel great, but I do think the talent is there. I don't think he's actually going to leave the Ravens, and if he did, he'd probably go somewhere and play quite a bit. I'm almost hoping someone takes Jalen McMillan because I don't really love him here, but I would take him. I don't think I want to take Mooney ahead of him or Shaheed or Kirk. So we'll just take Jalen McMillan. This was a guy going in the 70s. When it seemed like Godwin might leave, falling all the way to 90s. I think he'll still have a role. It obviously won't be as good as had Godwin left. Kevin, welcome. This is not a Kevin draft. This is a running back with the first two selections, robust RB draft. So I apologize. This may not be the favorite team of yours that I have ever constructed, but I'm all about honesty and transparency, and I just wanted you to know right away what you were in for. Kevin, I am considering stopping at 4. Actually, I can't do 3. I'm not that brave. When called upon, I simply cannot answer that call. But I do see the merit of those. You've spent the draft capital, right? You've said, my first 2 picks are running backs, so these are going to be the guys carrying this team. And if late in the season it's RJ Harvey or someone, well then I'm going to wish Bijan Robinson was like CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson or someone of that ilk. And so I'm going to be fighting teams that are way better than me anyway. So I could see stopping at 4. I definitely won't take more than 5. The problem is that there's some really potentially good late round running backs. And the other thing is I was talking about before is how frequently running back hits your flex on Underdog. And I did not talk myself into 3. I didn't because I think I can agree with the thesis that Bijan and Taylor are need to fill my running back spots, but I think the search for flex is wide and broad. and it's quite possible that running back can hit the flex late. And I don't want to just pass on, potential 20, 25 points from a running back. Like if RJ Harvey or DJ Giddens is scoring points late, they can hit my flex in this build and I'm fine, right? So that's my thing. I want to take the player who I think gives me the best chance to hit that part of my lineup. But yeah, I do want to vary my structures more and more. Let's see. Yeah, I hope so. Kevin. If Hampton's not hitting my flex often, I am in some trouble. But I'm stopping at 4. I'm taking Scatabo. I love Scatabo, and nobody can stop me. All right, that's it, Kevin. I will tell you. I know you wanted me to stop at 3. I will stop at 4 now that I got my guy. I know. No, and I appreciate, I know we're all jokes aside. I got too excited. All jokes aside, I appreciate what you are doing here. Like, we should be challenging the kind of orthodoxy in structure, and not in a way where we're just chasing what won last year, but in kind of breaking the mold and getting unique pairings and getting players together that are harder to combine. And I think that makes sense, and I don't think it's done enough. I think people can be a little bit more nervous in Fields goes. I wanted Fields to pair with Wilson. So I'm just going to be unstacked Justin Herbert guy because I think he's the best quarterback. I think he's the best quarterback in this range. So I'm just going to take him. Maybe they draft Igbuka or something, but Fields would have been nice. I would have liked to have had him there, but again, I don't know who's going to be quarterbacking Pittsburgh. Purdy's gone, Baker's gone, and we don't know who will take Igbuka. Who knows? Could be Justin Herbert. This will be a 3 QB team. However, I can say that with a fairly high degree of certainty, especially if I'm stopping at 4 running backs. But I did not want to leave that pocket without a QB. Chess Liam takes Trevor Lawrence as his second quarterback, so he's got Caleb, T-Law, and then 3 running backs, Gene T, Chase Brown, and Caleb Johnson. Wide receivers of BTJ, Marvin Harrison, Chris Olave, Travis Hunter, and then tight ends of Kittle and Jonnu. So interesting there from Chess Liam. All right, Colston Loveland goes. So I think my team now, I probably just need to be hammering receiver as we go, maybe pick up a tight end, and then whatever 2 quarterbacks kind of strike our fancy. Pulling up the board, we pick again at 142, 147, and 166. And looking by ADP, it gets a little dicey if you wait till 166 to get a third quarterback. There's no guarantee any of them are there. So we'll see. We'll see what comes to us. We might end up taking 2 quarterbacks, if only because the wide receivers in this range are not very exciting. Jaden Higgins has roared up draft boards all the way up to 142. He was going in the 170s for a long time, and before that, he was in the 190s. So he has shot up the board. Jalen Knoll up quite a bit. He was in the 200s. He's all the way up to 176. So seeing some pretty big moves in a few of these rookies as the draft capital steam comes in on them. But we are 7 picks away. CJ Stroud's still not off the board. I would happily take him, but I would also be really surprised if Stroud is not taken. We've already got somebody with 3 quarterbacks: Mahomes, Goff, and Drake May. My God. And I guess they did stack Goff with somebody. But so CJ Stroud goes to the Nico drafter. That is unsurprising. Makes a lot of sense. Let's see what Chess Liam, who still only has 4 wide receivers, does. Let's see. JJ McCarthy. I don't know if I really want to take unstacked JJ McCarthy. This range, it's a little unfortunate where I am picking versus what I need. I gotta say I've kind of left myself in a little bit of a bind as far as my my QB situation, because I think I need to take 1. And if I don't take 2, I might end up frozen out. If QJ falls to me, that's another really bad break, because I absolutely do not want to draft him. But I do have Justin Herbert, so if I'm ever going to take a QJ share, it'd be now. But my God, he was a tough watch. He was a tough watch last year, and he's totally going to fall to me. This is my nightmare situation unfolding here. This is so brutal. Well, you know what? I don't want QJ. I'd rather take I'd take Kevin, you're right. I'd take Conklin. But I'm going to do I want Thielen or Coker? The age-old question here. You know, I'm going to take Coker. I'm going to take Coker here, and then I'll queue up Bryce Young. I really hope none of these guys take a third QB, and if they do, I hope it's not Bryce Young. We'll see, because it is tempting at the turn to click like Young and Thielen, but I don't think Drake and Bake needs to do that, but we'll see. I agree. Yeah, Conklin could be a late click here. QJ he has such a case of the drops, and then in the playoffs he had like at least 1 or 2 big drops. They've got to move on from that. He was like, his production seemed to come on like when the defenders would reenact like a Three Stooges routine and all like fall over each other, and he would just be like prancing into the end zone on his own. Like surely we're not going to see that again. I don't think that's a world that I want to live in. But we'll see. I mean, obviously stacking Bryce Young and Jalen Coker is not exactly the most ideal run out here, but we'll see. We will see. I really think the Chargers are going to draft somebody in QJ. We're going to see him kind of fizzle out. So I'll take Coker. I'll take Bryce Young. I thought he was actually quite good at the end of the year last year. He has a little bit of hidden rushing upside. There's the chance of stacking him with Sanders late. If I want to round this out with Conklin and Sanders, that would be a perfectly fine tight end room here, and then literally just take more wide receivers, because I made a promise to you, Kevin, that I would stop taking running backs, and now I am honor bound to end at 4. But let's see. I think there's a few autoers, so this has been a fairly slow draft here, but kind of a weird team for me. I got to be honest. This is not a team that I construct too often, but you never know. you know, you never know looking back on it. If Jennings keeps playing well and Igbuka's the rookie receiver who's good, this could be a decent little squad that we've put together. QJ, still nobody drafting him, just as it should be. Drunk on Pappy auto drafting, or at least taking it to double zeros. All right, let's see what Chess Liam does. I think he doesn't hate QJ. I think he's gonna take him. Wow, he takes Rico Dowdle. Huh. All right. Did not expect that. Did not expect. Since you have 2 rookie running backs, you can take one more. Okay, Kevin, I will keep that in mind. So I appreciate that, because there may come a point where I'm clicking late and it's desperate. I've also been playing mostly over on DraftKings, and the ADPs are quite different. So it's been a little bit of a getting back up to speed here, because I only have like 12 drafts left, so I've been much heavier on DK than here, because I'm trying to max that one as well. And it seems like the ADPs here, people are more in on the rookie receivers than they are over there, where like Jalen Knoll is still, I think, at like 203 or something, or like 199. It's very late. Whereas here he's 176. So Matthew Stafford's still out there. I doubt he'll be there in 10 picks, especially with 2 people who only have 1 quarterback. Gotta think they're gonna take them. This could potentially be an A-Rich team if he falls to me. I know A-Rich and Jonathan Taylor kind of negatively correlated, but that might actually be okay. Like if I kind of just capture the rushing upside in this, I didn't use early draft capital on a quarterback. So if A-Rich is hitting my lineup and I'm not getting points from Herbert or Young, that's fine. I'm not sacrificing too much. And obviously the risk with A-Rich is that he's just not the starter. But again, it's one of those circumstances where if he cannot beat out Daniel Jones, then he was going to be bad anyway, even if he was the starter. So I view that all as just like bad player risk. I don't think there's any like, I think it's a little bit double counting, worrying about whether he gets the job, because if he doesn't get the job, then he was going to stink anyway. So that's kind of my thought on that. So I'd probably take A-Rich, but I would definitely take Geno or Darnold if they fall to me. I might even take Geno over A-Rich, but we'll see. I think Vegas could be sneaky fun offense, and Geno in a dome is actually quite a different animal than outdoor Geno. And so now he gets to play in a nice warm dome, gets to throw to Brock Bowers. Got to think they might add somebody past Jacoby Myers. He might be tossing to Ashton Jeanty. So I think I'm actually talked myself into Geno here. I could do a late Trey Tucker if I need a stack there. Greg, welcome. Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate it. So I got to do that little diatribe on Geno Smith, only for him to get drafted 2 picks ahead of me. But that's the way she goes. I do think I'll take A-Rich over an unstacked Sam Darnold. Definitely have a little bit of worry about Darnold playing up there in the Pacific Northwest. I think it's a lot easier to look good in a dome throwing to Jefferson and Addison than it will be like JSN and Jake Bobo. Not to slander our king Jake Bobo, but it's it's a little sketchy, just a little sketchy. I'm just going to windmill in Jalen Noel here. This team needs some luck in the wide receiver room. He's getting a ton of steam, and I don't want to overthink it. I will add him to the team. Could I have taken Alec Pierce to stack with A-Rich? Yes. Did I? No. That's I don't know what else to say. I probably should have thought about that a little more, because Alec Pierce has like the craziest 800-yard season. I cannot believe Alec Pierce had 800 yards. That just seems crazy, because if you look at his game log, it was never more than like 3 catches a game. But he was, if A-Rich can do one thing, it's launch the ball on a rope 55 yards downfield. He cannot throw the ball 5 yards down the field. That's the A-Rich conundrum. But again, Pierce I think is a fine pick here in best ball, but I do think Noel has a legitimate chance to be like a second round pick and be very good from everything I've read. Whereas Alec Pierce, we know what Alec Pierce is, and I think Alec Pierce is going to be available all summer in the 170s, 180s, in BBM. So I think there's plenty of opportunity to take him. Whereas, if Noel gets really good draft capital, we're going to have to take him in, the 120s or earlier. So that is my thought there. If Pierce comes back to me, I would take him. In that position. So far, Greg, I don't know if you've seen the team. We've got an unstacked Herbert. We've got Bryce Young and A-Rich at quarterback, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Omarion Hampton, and our king, Cam Scatabo at running back. Wide receiver room of Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, Juwan Jennings, Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, Jalen Coker, and Jalen Noel. I need more Jalens, apparently. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, and again, the counterpoint is like, well, we won't be drafting the big board after the draft. So like the change in thanks, Kevin. So the change in ADP, it's a little apples to oranges, because everybody getting Noel in this draft is getting him, in the one between 170 and round 20. But yeah, thanks, Kevin. Stacking rookie receivers, hoping to luck into it was that the QBs were going fast and furious, and I needed a quarterback, and none of them were stacked. Fields went right before me, and this wide receiver room, if you look at it, none of these guys I had up to Jalen until then. None of their quarterbacks were available, or like we don't know who Pittsburgh's QB is. So I just took best player available, like a real boomer GM, and that's how I landed. That's how I landed on him. Interesting position here. So we're at the point where a lot of these receivers, I'm a little bit agnostic on, Bond is kind of a weird prospect. He definitely got knocked because he didn't run as fast as he said he would, but there's like quotes going around that he's got a little Jermaine Burton to him. I could take AD Mitchell again, another chance to pair with A-Rich. I guess I'll just take Jatavion Sanders, get another tight end, and stack them with Young. So at least I have a little bit of a Bryce Young double stack, and then I will decide who else I'm taking here. I don't mind Tolbert. I don't mind Mitchell. I don't mind Royals. I would really take any of those guys. And not really sure. This is where something like the draft caddy or one of those overlays would help, because I don't know exactly who I want here. I guess I'll take Mitchell here. I'm worried about him being such a head case that he just kind of never really pans out. He, apparently the only thing keeping him off the field is himself. The talent is there, but like, just apparently, like, if he wasn't going to get the ball, like if he wasn't the primary on a route, he just like would lose all interest in the route. So he didn't play a full complement of snaps. Yeah, Kevin, thank you. Have a good one, and I'll catch you later. So definitely some worry with that, but as an 8th receiver, I don't mind taking a swing there to stack him with A-Rich. Tolbert, Hopkins, and Royals goes. Let's see. So I will be taking one more tight end on this team. Probably one very late running back, and then one more wide receiver. Again, Greg, I was telling Kevin, I've been playing more on DK because I am basically running out of bullets here. And the ADPs are very different animal. Definitely people are more woke to the rookie receivers on Underdog than over there. So Chess Liam takes Derek Carr, which makes sense because he has Chris Olave. He took Alec Pierce, the aforementioned Alec Pierce. Interesting team that old Chess Liam's built. He also has 4 running backs and 3. So we have actually the same build. Not too dissimilar. I guess he spent more capital at tight end. With 2 funds after 1, it is the worst UI. Were you on mobile or on desktop? Because I mostly draft on mobile on there, and I don't feel like it's too. I don't feel like it's too bad, but Oh yeah, it's totally boomer rooms, and it's crazy because the sites should be flipped and who plays them, right? Like Underdog is all about the best ball intelligentsia who think that wide receiver is all that matters, and people who take early running backs are dunces because they're all going to get hurt, and all you need are like round 20 running backs that are going to ride to your rescue in week 17. Whereas on DK, it's like boomers who play their like friends and family leagues who still think it's 1998 and take early running back. But DK's full PPR, and this is half PPR. So running backs are actually way more important on Underdog than on DK, but we draft them the opposite. It just blows my mind. And I've been trying to take more early running back on Underdog because the experience playing battle royales are we tend to take running backs in the first round more often than not, unless there's a huge elite receiver. And then I've lost my train of thought. And it's the same scoring system. So we value running backs in the weekly games, but then the season-long games we're like, no, we don't need the running backs. And it just seems like we've lost our way a little. And I think this year we're getting there, but we're getting the right result, but the wrong reasoning, in that everyone saw like Saquon and Henry and Bijan going off. And so everyone's back in on running back because of those examples. But I really think the scoring system just favors running backs more than it does these just mega heavy wide receiver builds. I think I'm just going to add Darius Slayton to this team. I don't think there's like a late Charger or Colt that I really need to stack, and Slayton just got paid a lot of money, so I will add him to round out the receiver room. Oh, I can't do it on desktop. DK on desktop is god awful. Mobile is not too bad, except it randomly just like doesn't advance, so I'll just be sitting there, and next thing I know I've like autoed multiple picks, and it's pretty tilting. But yeah, no, DK's desktop interface is really bad. Do I want this to be a Tyler Conklin team, or do I want to take Mason Taylor? It's so hard for me to actually click Conklin there. I think I'd rather hope Mason Taylor gets a good landing spot. I think Conklin, he's a pretty limited player. We kind of know what we're getting with him. I think with Andrews and Sanders, I'd rather take the upside on one of these other tight ends. Let's see. As far as I'm going to take our boy LaQuint Allen. I haven't taken a ton of him lately. He fell after the combine, but he is probably the best pass blocker of the rookies, which is one of those facets of the game that can get you on the field. Hames, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I feel bad. People are coming in, and unfortunately, this is the tail end of the draft. And being that Pete is going live in 23 minutes, I will be ending it after this one. But I really appreciate you swinging by. I will start going over the team. Let me queue up just a few running backs. I think. All right. I think this is my preferred order. We'll see. Hopefully, this doesn't end up being a Michael Mayer team, because it's always possible. You think you get a fun rookie, and then you get Michael Mayer. So we got Justin Herbert, Bryce Young, and A-Rich at quarterback. All the quarterbacks I wanted got sniped, so I just took best player available. So I got Herbert, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Omarion Hampton, Cam Scatterbo, and LaQuint Allen Jr. at running back. Garrett Wilson, and I will interrupt to agree with you, High Chief. Very high team. Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, Juwan Jennings, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, Jalen Coker, Jalen Knoll, A.D. Mitchell, and Darius Slayton. No, I was not given a secret draft everyone named Jalen challenge, but we kind of accidentally got there. And then Mark Andrews and Jatavion Sanders at tight end, and I will add a third tight end. Love to see LaQuint Allen getting drafted still. The pass block rating, man. Yeah, I mean, he definitely hurt himself in the eyes of the best ball community by not running at the combine. How much that hurt him, in the real NFL, we'll see. Again, at this point in the draft with these guys, I'm just trying to mix up my exposures so I don't take the same dudes every time. I think it's probably slightly more likely that like Jordan James gets drafted ahead of him, but do I want to take Jordan James ahead of him every single time? No. So all these guys you can make different arguments for. And so I've just been trying to mix them up. I was off of LaQuint for a while, and I don't want all my teams I make late in the process to not have him if he actually sees some role. Best slant route at running back in the class, Greg. That I will have to take your word on that one. I did not know that, but I am happy to hear it, because I was taking a lot of LaQuint Allen early in the big board. Let's see what Chess Liam did. He's got Caleb, Trevor, Lawrence, and Derek Carr at QB. Gene T, Chase Brown, Caleb Johnson, Rico Dowdle, Kendre Miller, Roshan Johnson at running back. Brian Thomas, Marvin Harrison, Chris Olave, Travis Hunter, Keenan Allen, Dontavian Wicks, Alec Ayomanor, and Alec Pierce at receiver, and then Kittle and Jonnu at tight end. So nothing too far afield for Chess Liam there. It's always interesting to see what some of these better players take as far as rookies, and in this case he didn't take any late rookies other than I guess Io Minor, but I'm not counting him as a late rookie. He's now kind of in the mid to late rounds. And then Parker Washington, Parker Washington. All right. So another guy for his Jags stack there to round out Chess Liam's team. For sure, LeQuint never drafted anymore in ADP different now. Yeah, I fell for the highlight. That's what happened to me. I was like this. I bought into LeQuint Allen hype, and then again, no running at the combine, no fun. But it's all right. It's all right. And yeah, he's definitely goes undrafted in you know what? I am not going to blame the Davis. Last year, I went all in on Izzy Abanikanda because of the leg up ranks. And I said this year, if I go all in on a guy, it's because I like them. I will blame only myself. And LeQuint Allen was one of those guys who, yes, he was high on the Davis rankings, but I did the proverbial do your own research. And I did it, and I was like, this guy rocks. And then I might have. I don't actually know how to watch tape. I just like watching highlights and be like, oh yeah, he looks fast. And I bought it, hook, line, and sinker. But hopefully he is decent. So I'm just gonna take Mason Taylor. I really don't see a world where Tyler Conklin is like making a difference. Mason Taylor could be a big fat zero, but I do think there is more upset. No. I know you're not blaming. I know, but yeah, you get turned on to guys in different ways, and yeah. Well, everyone, I really appreciate you all stopping by. I wish I could run another, but again, I will see you all around. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. And yeah, I'm hoping to do this again tomorrow. We'll try to start nice and early, but otherwise, I'll see you all around. Take care, everyone.